Hi everybody. Welcome to Project Talk. I'm Arian, your host, and welcome to our new format at E.ON Inhouse Consulting, where we want to give you insights into our projects, into our project landscape. And today I'm here with Angelina. Thanks for being here. You're our first guest. I'm really looking forward to the conversation. Maybe you want to introduce yourself.
Yes. Hi, Arian. Thank you very much for inviting me there today. It's a pleasure and happy to tell more about my role at E.ON Inhouse Consultancy and also tell a bit more about the project that I'm currently working on.
Thank you. Then let's jump right in. What is your role? Maybe you can elaborate on that, how you got maybe to E.ON Inhouse Consulting, and then I would say let's jump right into the project talk.
Yeah. Happy to tell more. I'm Angelina. I'm senior consultant there at E.ON. I've joined 3.5 years ago, and that was actually my first choice because I was planning to move to Germany. And so far I had quite a nice experience of working on different topics across the organization. I started my journey from organizational projects and then jumped into the area of customer solutions, where I also had a chance to work on strategic and operational topics. So now I'm back to organizational area and with a bit of flavor of digital transformation. So happy to tell you more today about my current project. So let's go.
Thank you. That were many insights already. I think it would be best if we talk about your recent or most recent project that you are in. Could you tell us a little bit more about the most recent project that you have or you had?
Yeah, sure. So currently I'm working on Delphi project. That's the digital transformation that we are driving to transform our HR area. So we started from, let's say, defining the vision on how we want to see HR in the future. So how do we shape HR of our company? And then we realized that there are actually, let's say, a lot of areas to improve because we have a lot of tools across different units as we are quite large and international company. So we decided that it would be a great idea to actually standardize the landscape and implement one shop solution for our HR function.
And you were just talking about our company. You're talking about the E.ON company, right? So we are at the E.ON Inhouse Consulting, but of course we have a broader view on our partners that we are consulting, and that would be E.ON, right?
Yes, thank you for your question. Indeed, in our daily work, we collaborate closely with our E.ON partners across different areas. And specifically to illustrate on the example of my current project, I'm working with partners from HR area and also our digital colleagues who are supporting the transformation and implementation of the tool. But of course, we usually also involve a lot of colleagues from units to sound our ideas and then to really find the best way to implement the idea. So, yeah.
Okay, very nice. And I would guess you are not alone on the project, right? You, as a senior consultant, probably have a project manager. What would be your explanation of the role that you had?
Yeah. So usually when we work on different projects, I think our setup can vary because we can tackle different type of projects and we can also work on solving different problems with our E.ON partners. Specifically, in our current project, we have, let's say, quite a standard setup. We have our director who is involved from the overarching perspective. We have our principal who is supporting the project, also giving content impulses and let's say having the core interface with our E.ON partner. And of course, we have our project managers and let's say more operational team with junior colleagues, with our senior consultants and consultants. So we are quite large team. So I'm specifically as a senior consultant, I work independently. Of course, I involve my senior colleagues, my project manager, and also our principal and director to really get some of the sounding from their side and, let's say, validate the ideas that I would like to drive with my partner. But I work usually independently, so I work on the daily basis with our partner from the E.ON side, and yeah, we just set up the deliverables that we want to achieve, and yeah, we just working on them.
Very nice, yeah. I mean, I've also started as a consultant at E.ON Inhouse Consulting. You probably also have started as a consultant. Would you say there is a distinct difference when switching, for example, roles from consultant to senior?
Yeah, for sure. I think when you just join consulting, you really just execute and deliver tasks that you are given. But once you grow, you develop a different skill set, and I think you also change your attitude to your task, because especially when you grow from consultant to senior consultant, you need to have a clear ownership on your area. So it's not really about the only one task that you need to solve, but it's taking a broader perspective on the topic, starting from the problem statement and then really deciding on how you want to solve this problem. And then once you go through the solution, you also need to understand implications on the higher scope, and then to also be able to bring that into the, let's say, overarching project perspective to potentially also shape other areas.
Very nice, thank you. Now we've talked about maybe our roles, your role, and also a little bit of development here. Maybe let's focus back on the project again. You said it was a HR project, you were harmonizing, but what was the concrete goal of the project that you've started maybe?
Yeah, so if I want to explain this project to a person who is not working in consulting or maybe far away from the digital transformation and harmonization of our IT landscape, I would maybe bring one example. So imagine you have, as an employee, you have multiple tools that cover different areas. I don't know, in one side you need to employ new people to the organization. Then you also need to update some of the data about the employee, and then, for example, make sure that everyone who is joining your company has a smooth introduction. So those are different areas, different processes, and for everything you need to have one different tool. But what we are trying to do in Delphi, we are trying to really bring one solution for everything, so that everyone can really use just one system for everyday tasks. And yeah, that's what we are working on. So we are taking a lot of tools, processes, and we just bringing this together to be able to maintain a better employee experience, better candidate experience, and also yeah, just make our life easier for employees across E.ON, because yeah, people are at the core, so we need to make sure that they are operating right tools and they are equipped to really work on the topics to drive energy transition.
And I can imagine harmonization, standardization can be quite challenging, especially if you have to consider there are multiple, for example, entities that you have to consult with or include. And I can imagine you didn't only talk to E.ON, it was different stakeholders that you had?
Yes, yeah, actually it's a really good question, because if I think about this particular project, it goes across areas, because we have so many entities and countries across E.ON, and it's not only Germany, but it also covers other countries as UK, Czech Republic, Hungary, a lot. And when you're working on the topic like HR, it's really not unit specific, it's not country specific, but it covers the whole organization. And in our concrete project, we are implementing the tool in different waves. So we recently successfully piloted the program across 3 units as a first step, but now we will also focus on further implementation in 2 waves. So we have wave 1 where we cover further units and also regional units.
And between us, was it difficult to bring all the entities on the same page, or was it a basically self-running system?
So I joined the project when there was already a lot of work done. So I think my colleagues handled that quite successfully. But I have to say, even we piloted units, we are still at the beginning of our joint journeys with our wave 1 and wave 2 units, just because we are now in the planning phase also for the next releases. And I have to say there are a lot of things you need to consider in terms of, the scope you want to develop and bring, what are the functionalities that you want to have, what are the priorities you need to focus, how do you do it, when do you do it, what type of dependencies do you have. So this is all for us to solve, and it's challenging, but at the same time, I think it brings a lot of areas to shape, and you can just be part of that and really drive it together.
And it's probably very rewarding at the end if you can accept the solution or align on a solution that everybody agrees on, right?
Yeah, I think that's exactly the case, because it's great to actually see some tangible impact. As we now piloted the program and it's already live, so people can already use it, click on some buttons to really have this HR processes set up. And I think it's great to see the impact that you can do, because you're really working on something tangible that everybody will use across the organization. And I don't know, I'm just, it's great, because with this concrete solution, we are bringing benefits not only to, let's say, people in HR who are working on this topic directly, but also we are, let's say, bringing benefits for our managers and also for our employees that can really use this on a daily basis.
And what would you say, besides bringing everybody onto the same page, what was the most challenging part, the most challenging question that you had to solve or tackle while you were on the project?
Yeah, I think I've been this journey currently right now, so it's still a lot to solve. But for me personally, I think it's really the planning perspective, because you need to know in advance what are the core priorities you need to drive, and what are the really focus area you want to put your effort. So I think we are getting there, but that's definitely something to consider, because as I mentioned, if you work on the project that covers the broad organization, then there are just a lot of aspects to consider. So
not only agreeing on the solution, but also agreeing on the task.
Yes,
right?
yes, exactly, because that's the big differentiation between, let's say, strategic projects and implementation. Because yes, you can draft an ideal solution on a paper that everyone will like, but in the end, you need to implement that and bring that to life. And from what I've seen, usually implementation is much more challenging, because it's not only how you create sites, or you just frame it with nice action titles, but it's really about working with people, trying to identify challenges, trying to identify way forward, and also being able to make right decisions to progress, because there should be, let's say, a clear direction where we are going. And I think we are, as E.ON at least, really trying to support this process to really bring that to life and really have the direction of where we're going.
You were saying that one of the biggest difficulties or challenges currently is to manage all the stakeholders and manage also the timeline, what steps comes first and should be prioritized. Is there a go-to solution for that in your experience too?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, and I think it really depends on project. So it can vary from one type of solution to another, but I think in general you can also have different solutions, right? Where you really want to standardize and bring it more to the global level, or where you really need to take into account localizations, but at the same time we are also taking into account some necessary let's say local areas that we need to include, and I think for Germany the typical example would be having the workers' council processes implemented. I think that's something you wouldn't also find in other countries.
Big topic, right, for HR processes and solutions.
Yeah, exactly, and we have it in place. So even if it's not, let's say, global feature available for everybody, we still keep the focus because it's really it's a priority topic for Germany, and at the same time we also want to secure right translations for every country. So there is definitely a level of adaptation that you need to have for every country and every unit. You will have a lot of stakeholders who will also provide you with different business requirements, because obviously they're interested in their processes the most. But I think we as also consultants should be, let's say, mindful about that and really not forget the general objective that we have in our projects.
Very nice. Thank you for the insight on that part. Maybe a little bit more also looking in your project team. How was the collaboration? I mean, we've heard now many things about the partner side from E.ON, but how did the collaboration in your E.ON Inhouse Consulting team look like?
Yeah, I have a great team, so I really enjoy working with my team on a daily basis, because usually we have not only formal relationships and we not only work on the content, but we also, let's say, laugh together. We have some fun time every day, because we work every day together and we spend a lot of time, right? From morning to evening. It can also vary from project to project, but in this case, I think the collaboration is going really great. So we usually very transparent and open in our exchanges. So for example, in the morning we align on our daily priorities. Then if necessary, during the day we also talk to each other where it makes sense, where we want to also assess something, or let's say brainstorm on the content to find an optimal solution. And then usually in the evening we also exchange on the progress we achieved during the day, and a bit discuss the priorities for the next day, or any open topics where we need support, because usually every day we have a question: does anybody need support? And we support each other during this journey. So I really like it.
And looking into a typical working day or a typical working week, is there something that you particularly look forward to in terms of teamwork or team meeting, huddle?
Yeah. For me, I think it can be also different from different people, but for me, the team spirit is really important, because I'm not the person who is only working, on the content. I really like to have some fun with my teams, to have a lot of jokes, to also complain maybe when I want to complain. So in at least at E.ON, I usually I find it quite nice, because we are very transparent to each other, and you are not only a machine who is working on the slides, but you also have some human perspective in your daily interactions.
Very important also to grow also as a team, right?
Yeah.
And in the parts where it can also get a little bit more stressful. I mean, you are talking to many stakeholders, you have to align on many topics. If those moments arise in the project, what is the solution for you as a team, or what helps you as a team?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I think it can also vary from situation to situation, because I think there is no perfect way to approach it.
Any particular maybe also experience that you had in the previous times?
Maybe just a bit of the personal perspective on how I usually approach this. So in general, if I have a problem, I'm trying to solve it right away by myself. So I like to be very independent there. But sometimes, of course, there are topics that you can't solve as a senior consultant, because sometimes you need escalation from your project partners, from senior team members in the project. So whenever I have a challenge, I just try to make it transparent, and let's say usually I just share it with my team. But of course, I'm not only complaining or sharing this. I mean, usually I have the vision on how this can be solved, and I test it with my team members. And if we agree on the course of action, then we just do it together, and we, let's say, divide and conquer how we solve it, or who is a stakeholder that we need to approach to solve it. So
you have a little sounding for yourself then with the team?
Yes, exactly, because sometimes if you work on the project, as you are too focused on the topic you're working on, you might not know also about some different perspectives that is happening somewhere in the background. So there might be also some other topics, some other discussions that you need to be aware of. And it always, for me, it helps to just bring it to the group discussion and just to, align on the way forward, just to avoid any risks or unnecessary escalations.
Perfect. So we have heard now so many things about the project. Thank you so far. So it's an HR project. It's addressing so many different areas in E.ON, so many different stakeholders. You're currently in the piloting phase of your solutions that you've come up with as a team, and also in cooperation, of course, with E.ON. What would you say will be the impact of the project and the results in the end, now maybe also looking at the piloting phase?
Yeah, it's actually already there. So there is already impact, because we started our journey with implementing the first set of functionalities for 3 units, and now we are working on developing and configuring also other functionalities, both new ones, but at the same time also some enhancement to, for example, core HR processes that we will have in our HR system. So we have delivered the basics, and now we are working on, let's say, bringing some further features to life, because our ultimate objective is to make sure that the system is working, and employees, managers, and also our HR communities can use the system on a daily basis to also solve daily HR topics.
That sounds great. Do you have maybe a graspable example of what can be better or will be better with the new solution?
Yeah, so in the first release, we already unlocked some core HR processes, for example, maintaining the data about our employees, and we also piloted some first functionalities for the recruiting and onboarding process. And going forward, we will also bring more features to life, but at the same time, we will uncover some further areas that we didn't touch before. For example, learning process, and also dashboards for our core topics. So I think that we already achieved a lot, but we are still in the journey to make it even more comprehensive, to really make sure that we have our HR processes in place.
Sorry if I'm too specific now, but what exactly, on which dimension did you improve, for example, the HR systems there?
Yeah, I think in general we are unlocking quite a lot of benefits across different groups of users of the platform. But in general, we just want to deliver a future-proof, simple, end-to-end journey for our employees, and this covers really a lot of areas, because now you don't need to have multiple systems in place. You have everything in one solution tool, and you don't need to also link any other processes there. And one great example that I'm personally really excited is how do we also bring AI functionalities in there. I think it's not there yet. It's something to solve, but in the end, once you fix the basics, once you really establish a core tech stack for all the future, for all the functionalities, you then can think about, okay, how do I make it even better? And I think with bringing AI to the tool, with also implementing generative AI, predictive AI, agentic AI, you can really boost employee experience, and you can really save time. And we see a lot of potential also across areas, so that's still something to solve, but I'm very looking forward to also covering that.
Perfect. I would say that's the perfect finish for our first project talk. Thank you very much, Angelina. You gave us so many insights in how we work, how you worked in your project team at E.ON Inhouse Consulting. You gave, I would say, really good insights into the project itself, an HR project focusing on standardizing, harmonizing the IT tool landscape across E.ON, and with all the benefits it comes with, and of course a seamless end-to-end experience here would be, I would say, the biggest takeaway and the biggest, so to say, improvement from the project. Thank you very much. I really enjoyed it. I hope it was also a nice experience for you. Thank you, Angelina. Thank you for everybody listening and watching. I hope you had good insights into our project and teamwork at E.ON Inhouse Consulting. If you want to know more about projects, you can find also examples on our website, and maybe we'll see us again in the next episode.